Remember when, and what a last match. Soper striking out, shoot at 227, losing to Bramwell, who shot at 233. Both professionals, 7 strikes. And now, Bramwell, looking for his first victory, goes against last week's winner of the PBA National Championship, likable Randy Pedersen of Santa Maria, California.
Chris, I crossed with Richard Bramwell in Texas at the Quaker State Open, and when he gets loose, he's capable of shooting tremendous scores. His last 3 games there in the qualifying were 269, 267, 248, so we can look for him to start shooting some big numbers right now. He's won the first match. Let's see what happens.
Perfect start. And our first opportunity to look at Randy Pedersen, that 24-year-old, 6'2", 165 pounds. 2 titles, and the big one came his way last week with a tremendous performance, Imperial Lanes in Toledo, winning one of the majors. Didn't quite come up into the pocket, leaving the 10.
Randy obviously very loose and relaxed after his victory last week, as you see him with his 5-step delivery, just a smooth profile. He locks that shoulder, deep knee bend, just as sweet as you can do it. And once again, he comes in a pinch light, leaves the 10-pin on somewhat of an unusual hit across lane for the spare.
Oh, slide.
Oh. You heard Randy say, just did avoid that open frame.
Well, Randy just nicks the 7-pin on the outside there, as you see the ball tipping over. But once again, Chris, the ball weighs 16 pounds. The pin weighs 3 pounds, 8 ounces. You must just touch them. That's all you need, accuracy on spares.
All right. Our first tip of the day. Oh, this demonstrative 24-year-old.
Watch the action of the 6-pin. It's over here in the channel, and it pops up and knocks the 10 out. This is when you're loose. When you get this kind of pin action, you know you have it going for you. Those pins know if you're squeezing that ball, Chris.
Strike up in the first, 2nd frame, right lane. High hit, leaving the 4.
Bramwell, who was light on this right-hand lane twice in the first match, makes a slight adjustment, and you can see him move to a little bit farther outside line, right down the first arrow, and you can see the trajectory. He's playing a great trajectory, by the way, for most league bowlers to play, except, on urethane lane surfaces as we have today. Right inside the first arrow, the ball just breaks a pinch high, no break on the 4-pin. With a spare, the match will be all even.
Here in the Washington area, the cherry blossoms are in full bloom, and here in the Hyattsville, Maryland area, where this FAIR Lanes establishment is actually located, some dogwoods, and 45 to 50 degree temperatures don't help for all the parades planned. But in 17 years we've been in this area, Bo, we've come to several establishments owned by FAIR Lanes. They have a total of 107 in 18 states.
All over the country, and obviously one of the excellent corporations in the bowling business. Now here's a young man trying to make in the bowling business, Richard Bramwell. Urethane bowling ball, 5-step delivery, match all even after 2 frames.
Coming up extremely high, 3, 6, 10.
The first difficult spare we've had to shoot at today is the ball goes through the middle of the pins, leaving the 3 pins over in the corner, the 3, 6, and 10 pins. And last night, a spare very similar to this, the 2, 4, and 7 for the left-hander, Parker Bone III, who finished 6th, missed this spare, which cost him a position in the championship round today. So let's see if the same fate awaits Richard Bramwell, or he converts the spare and only trails by 3.
Our Professional bowling tip of the week with Nelson Burton Jr. will be sort of a refresher, but always vital and important on scoring bowling. Simple, yet can seem difficult, Nelson.
That's for sure, Chris. Obviously, if you're not around bowling all the time, the scoring system can be difficult, but we simplify it for you today.
So, Randy Pedersen doubled. Gives him the lead. We asked what went through his mind last week when he had 10 in a row.
Well, I think I was in shock, first of all, to have the first 9 in a row on TV. I didn't really feel much of anything, and I was surprisingly calm for having that many in a row. I stepped up in the 10th frame. I got the first strike, and on the 11th shot, I didn't really feel much different than I did the whole match. I don't know what would have happened though if I'd have gotten that one. I had to throw one more for 100,000.
He opened with a spare in this second game. He now has 3 in a row and leads by 23. More of this match following this word.
Bowling's high rollers take aim for a piece of the $150,000 jackpot. It's the Showboat Atlantic City Open on ABC's Pro Bowlers Tour next Saturday.
Richard Bramwell, who defeated Butch Soper in the first game, 233 to 227, now trails by 23 pins against Randy Pedersen. Bramwell now shooting in the 4th, the spare working, shooting in the right lane. Second strike in this match now for Bramwell.
No doubt about it. Bramwell very smooth here in the 4th frame. Ball entering the 1-3 area, drives through the 5-9, just sets the pins right back on their heels. All 10 in the pit. Actually taking a little extra time. He's wiping off his ball, Chris. And he puts a little rosin on top of it. Now, when you put the rosin on top of the ball, you must wipe it off. You're not allowed to put anything on the outside surface of a bowling ball that could come off on the approach or the lane. So, in order to not be in violation of the rules, you must wipe it off. Now, strike up in the 4th, trails by 23, can cut the lead of Randy Pedersen's down to 13 with an additional strike here in the 5th.
Sort of a light hit, leaving the 2.
Now what happens here is you see the rotation of the bowling ball, the good power of Richard Bramwell, but not enough bite in the very last 3 feet or 4 feet of the lane that drives the head pin, the sideboard, and ends up with a fairly easy spare of the 2 pin. But Chrissy's struggling on the left-hand lane. He was high in the 3rd and now light in the 5th.
Sawing catches breath now as much taller Randy Pedersen. Ready to bowl. 3 in a row. Now the 5th frame. Horrible bowling ball. 4-bagger.
No doubt about it, Chris. The confidence he built up last week winning the national championship. I can remember when I won the U.S. Open in 1978. It was so easy for the next 3 or 4 months. And historically, a man, when he wins a major championship, a U.S. Open, look at how well the players do after they win that, or the national championship, or the Firestone. And he's just re-emphasizing that right now as he's bowling so well, can extend his lead to 43 pins with another strike.
Fans here, of course, really appreciate him. Sort of the boy next door type, isn't he?
No doubt, but he sure can roll that bowling ball. Confidently he drives all the pins in the pit, and he's put the pressure on Richard Bramwell. Emphatically carries the 5th strike. Now Bramwell trails by 43. Must get it going here. 6th frame.
Leaves the 4-7. Remember, he shot at 233. 7 strikes against Soper in the first match.
Bramwell not playing quite as much hook. His ball hits the 1, and watch the action of the 2 pin as it goes around the 4 and 7 pins, and this is why the ball didn't strike. It looks fairly good, but then it goes around the 4-7, as we say it on the tour, just a pinch high. Easy spare, but he'll trail by 45 pins through 6 frames.
Mentioned earlier that Walter Ray Williams, defending champion of the Fair Lanes Open, he finished 70th. And it was last year that Walter Ray won the Fair Lanes to become a double winner for the year. And of course, Pedersen is the only one in today's field who could be a double winner thus far. Finally, 1 in the 7th for Bramwell. Pedersen is in the lead. We'll be back with more. Randy Pedersen getting ready to shoot in the 8th while we were away. In the 7th, his string ended at 5. He left a 10 pin, covered it for his spare. What a young athlete, Randy Pedersen.
He's doing so well, Chris, and this game's 10 pin in the 1st frame, 5 strikes in a row, a 10 pin in the 7th, back in the 8th frame with a strike. Now for Richard Bramwell, who trails by 44, is not an insurmountable lead. He has a possible 235 if he strikes out. Pedersen is going at a 239 pace, but definitely a must situation for Richard Bramwell. 8th frame.
Big double for Richard Bramwell. The winner to meet, a man with an unusual style, Sam Flanagan, and then the tournament leader, Rowdy Morrow.
Now Richard, as he contemplates the 9th frame, still a must situation. The scoreboard tells the story. Bramwell can cut the lead of Pedersen's down to 24 pins with an additional strike here in the 9th. But if he doesn't strike, it's just about impossible to win. So this is the biggest frame so far.
What a mixer. 3 in a row in that foundation night's frame strike for Bramwell. So a strike in the 8th, shooting in the 9th. Randy Pedersen.
Randy Pedersen quickly on the approach.
What a little caress down there. Oh, watch this.
Once again, we see the action in the 6 pin as it just takes out the 10 pin. Randy apparently a pinch light in the pocket. It's the good sideboard action. And Chris, speaking from experience, when you are really, really relaxed with a talent like this young man has, you can continue to carry that hit. And sometimes that's the difference between defeat and victory. Here's for the lock. That's a winner.
It's fun to watch.
Well, until you bowled, I would say, on the Professional Bowlers Tour, had the experience this young man, and then the confidence and the money in the bank, you really don't realize how well he is bowling. Supreme confidence, supreme talent, and obviously dominating his opponents.
Concentration broken by a practice shot from Sam Flanagan. Sam's timing was a little off.
Randy has a potential 269.
All right. For pin, of course, we have a winner, 258. Young man will meet that same Sam Flanagan. Bowling tip of the week coming up on Scoring. Here it is.